I think I led off last year's evening with Terenza with one word, and that was wow. And it happened again this year. We're very lucky to have Mirinda join us. We actually approached her in September, before she won Kona. So it was very exciting to be watching the race. Frank and I were texting back and forth while she was kicking butt, and we couldn't believe we were going to get the Hawaiian Ironman champion. And then we were hoping that her stock didn't go up so high, and she committed so early that we were really hoping and keeping our fingers crossed that she would stay with the visit, and she kept her word. So we thank you very much. Also, we'll be videotaping these questions. Frank will post them on Sunrise Hwy. Can you just make sure it's recording?
Yep, it is.
Okay.
Get you on camera.
And what we'll do is we have another microphone for you guys to ask questions. The first 25 questions, you get a free shirt from Felt, one of Mirinda's sponsors. Traditionally now, what we do is our friends on slowtwitch.com have asked questions that I've written down, so we do the infamous Slow Twitch Q&A session with Mirinda. Most of these you guys would probably be interested in as well, so. What advantages do you think petite athletes under 5'4" have over their taller competition?
Well, we're lighter. That's one. No, I think, I don't know. I don't know that there is that many advantages. I think I'm obviously small, and I race all right, but there's a lot of athletes. For example, I was handed got my ass kicked on the weekend by Julie Dibbins, and she's a lot taller than I am. So I mean, being short has its advantages as well as its drawbacks. I mean, I think being bigger, they can produce a little bit more power on the bike. Being smaller, you can ride up hills a little faster normally, although Julie still rides faster up the hills than I do. But yeah, I mean, I think you just do the best with what you are given, and I think it doesn't matter what size you are, you can have a good race if you do the right training and you're smart enough to put all the bits and pieces together.
If you had to choose one run workout for speed, what would it be for 70.3 and for a full Ironman? One workout running for speed.
Yeah, speed work, I don't really do a ton of high-end speed work. I think that for Ironman and 70.3 in particular, it's really important to do strength endurance. So, you're doing, for example, I do a lot of 800s. I might do 15 to 20 800s on the track or on the road, and they're all at 70.3 pace or just below. Especially for Ironman, I think 23 minuters with like a minute rest. You're not getting a ton of rest, but you're getting enough rest so you can have a little bit of a break, and it's a long session, so you're trying to hold the same intervals for the last 5 as you are in the first 10. So the last 5, you're getting tired, you're struggling. That's when, I mean, that's what Ironman's about, and that's what 70.3 racing is about. It's not about running on fresh legs, and it's not about running, ridiculously fast. It's about who can run well under stress and who can run well when their legs are heavy and tired. And I like to simulate those sessions in just long, lots of intervals, or milers, 10 1-milers. Another session I do, but I don't generally do much shorter than that, unless I'm trying to do an Olympic distance race or something.
Do you perform any running drills? And if so, which ones work best for you? She has the best running form out there.
No. No, I don't do any running drills at all. I guess I was given this gift to run. I mean, I grew up on a farm. I ran around barefoot most of my life, chasing my brothers around, and I think that taught me how to run. And yeah, I mean, it's carried over, and I've been injury-free for my whole career, touch wood, and I think that's also helped. But no, I don't do any drills or anything like that.
How many hours or miles do you perform each week on the bike during a peak training week? Do you count hours or miles, and how many?
I count kilometres. I don't know if you guys speak Australian. I don't ride a lot. I mean, in a whole week, my biggest weeks would be about 33 hours of training total, maybe 15 hours on the bike, 450 to 500 kilometres, and that's definitely a lot lighter than a lot of the other professional athletes that I race against, but I choose to quality over quantity, so I want to make sure my quality sessions are actually quality and not just junk miles. So it's obviously important to get in those long rides, those long aerobic, boring rides, but you need to make sure you show up to your quality sessions fresh enough to get what you want out of the session. So that's how we work my program.
Your longest swim workout in preparation for an Ironman race, and your favorite set. Longest swim, favorite set.
I don't know if there's such a thing as favourite set in swimming. But for Ironman, I mean, I don't swim much over 5K. I might do a 6-kilometre swim session from time to time, but that's really rare. When I was doing Olympic distance racing, it'd be quite common I did a 10K swim back when I was training for Olympic distance. But now, I mean, my longest swim would be 5K. I swim 6 times a week. Sometimes it's 2K, as little as 2K and up to 5K. But yeah, I mean, I don't do anything too crazy on the swim. Obviously, for me, it's most important for me to work on the bike and gain the most time on the bike. And obviously, you can make up a lot of ground on the run too. So the swim's obviously still very important. But you know, you got to remember that there's 5 hours of bike riding and 3 hours, hopefully less than 3 hours of running. So yeah, my favourite swim session. I can tell you my least favourite swim session. My least favourite swim session is 60 100s in the pool, which my coach has. I mean, I refuse to do it. I've been with the same coach for 5 years now. I refuse to do it now, but every Sunday for like 3 years until I spat the dummy, we would do 50 to 60 100s on like 120 to 125 cycle in a 25-metre pool. It sucked.
Have you found any advantages to riding 650 wheels versus 700?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more about the fit. The 700C wheels just look silly on a small frame, and the geometry is just a little off. And I found that when I moved to 650, the bike was just a better fit. I felt more comfortable on the bike, and I feel like I don't know, when I moved to 650s, it almost felt like I was riding a tractor before, and now I'm riding a time trial bike, and everything's dialed in for me, so I just feel more comfortable on it. Obviously, there's a lot of talk, 650s, 700s faster than 650s, and I mean, I don't think, you know, I think if you have the right gearing, then, you know, it all depends on how fast you pedal the bike, so... And also, I think that the 650 wheels were really good in Kona, especially with the crosswinds. Having the smaller bike got me a little lower to the ground. I think that it was an advantage in Kona. Maybe not so on all courses, but as I said, I feel real comfortable on the 650s, and I feel like it's a better fit for me. So I'm really happy with the smaller wheels.
You probably have to give a politically correct answer to this, but did you have any issues when you changed from your previous bike manufacturer to Felt?
I mean, no, definitely no issues. It was really hard for me to leave Cannondale. And actually, I basically did the deal with Felt before I raced Kona. So they approached me early last year and said that they were interested. And a bunch of companies had approached me. Obviously, I'd gotten second the year before. And so I was all of a sudden... a little bit sought after from some bike companies, but I said to my manager that the only other bike company, first of all, I said I want to stay with Cannondale. I've been with them pretty much my whole career, and I'd like to stay with this company. The only company I would consider would be Felt, and let's explore what they're offering. I'm not talking in terms of money, because we actually didn't even talk money. It was more about what they can deliver to me as an athlete. And I mean, I'm just trying to find a good team to work with me moving forward. And I mean, I'll never say a bad word about Cannondale. Great product. Obviously won 2 world titles on Cannondale bikes. had a really good relationship with the marketing guy at Cannondale, and he's almost like family. I mean, it was really tough to tell him that I was going to leave in the end. But felt just basically told me that, you know, they'd have a team for me. I've got Pete Colson, I've got Jim Felt. I mean, I can call him up any day of the week and he'll talk bikes with me. I mean, I get bored after about 20 minutes, but he'll keep talking bikes with me for hours if I let him. But I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. And, you know, they're offering custom bike fits. They put me straight in the wind tunnel. They're just on top of it. Cannondale, I think, we're just such a massive company, and we were such a small part. They were all about road cycling and obviously the tour. They've got they support a bunch of teams. Felt obviously does have a road bike team as well. But triathlon, I guess, is still their passion, and it's definitely Jim's passion. So I guess I just was drawn to the fact that they could offer me a team. And moving forward, that's what I really want, a team who can look after my best interests and get me in the best possible situation, best possible position on the bike leading into future Kona races.
Do you realize how badass you look when you run?
Not at all. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. Thanks.
Do you take any time completely off from training?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are a lot of athletes and professional athletes we're type A personality. We don't like to take a day off. But I mean, I definitely take my time off when I can. I mean, I usually take 2 weeks completely off at the end of the year at some point, where I'll do nothing. I mean, I barely get my heart rate over 70 beats per minute for 2 weeks. And also there's 2 singular weeks during the year where I take off. I take a week off the beginning of May, and I take a week off in July just before my last big training block leading into Kona. And I take my weeks off seriously. I mean, I go out, I drink a lot, I party, I eat cake. Well, I eat cake all the time, but I eat more cake than normal. I think it's really important to have that downtime and to not have to put the running shoes on, not tie the laces up, not put the bike chamois on, you know, like time away from triathlon, be a normal person. And I think for me, I've always looked at the sport as I want to reach my mid-30s, which is where I should peak, and still feel fresh and still feel like I love the sport and still feel like I can improve and still have that hunger. And I think if you don't take downtime, then you can easily get burnt out. The sport's tough, and there's always something that needs work. But I think if you take weeks off here and there, it's not going to hurt you. I mean, you take a week off, it's only going to make you stronger. And yeah, I definitely plan my year around my breaks and make sure I have good holidays planned on the beach or somewhere like that.
Based on where you've lived and traveled, where do you want to live when you retire?
I actually just bought a lot in Boulder, Colorado, so I absolutely love it up there. I've been going back to Boulder for the past 5 years. And I mean, I haven't really braved a full winter, and I don't know if I ever will. Unless I have kids, then I guess I'll be stuck. But I normally head back to Australia for your winter, for our summer. But I think Boulder, Colorado is definitely a place that I'd see myself living beyond triathlon.
If you could have 2 guests for dinner, current or historical, who would you choose?
Michael Jordan. He was my idol growing up. I mean, I played basketball for 10 years before I even knew what triathlon was. So he was always my idol and the guy I looked up to. And the other one, I guess I'd probably have to say my boyfriend. I guess he's not here, but...
He's here.
Yeah. Yeah.